But for you, I know you've worked with Neill quite a few times now. I guess what is it about him that makes you, keep coming back?
Um, yeah, I just, he's a really relaxed filmmaker. He's a really relaxed
Mm,
person, but he's a really relaxed filmmaker. And I think that that is, something that I tend to gravitate toward. I feel like I have enough anxiety like within me that having somebody kind of set the tone and set the speed of a set is really valuable.
mm,
Beyond that, I appreciate and respect so much that he has an opinion, a point of view. Um, it's malleable if needed, but he
yeah.
has a strong sense of self and a strong sense of purpose and vision of what he wants to do. And he's really willing to experiment. And
Yeah,
I feel
clearly.
like, and yeah, I mean, yeah, clearly. And that's part of the fun. It's it's entirely, I feel like it's rare to it's rare across the board to come across people, and uh, I'm probably the worst at it, but like it's rare to come across people who are really willing to just forego conventional, you know, methods and modes and content and desires of others and do the film that you want to make.
Mm,
And I really do appreciate that about him. I totally, I back him. I will back him all the time, but I really like, from everything that he's done, there's always an element of perspective, point of view.
I was curious if the fact that you did know him beforehand, if that made you more comfortable to film during the pandemic as well.
Oh yeah, entirely. I mean, that's absolutely, like we had met on Elysium, but very briefly. I wasn't
Yep.
there for too long. We had done some of the Oates shorts together, which was an absolute pleasure, including Raqqa, which we shot in Johannesburg. So that was
Hmm.
kind of like another layer to getting to know one another. And then when Demonic came up, it was really an opportunity to do this long form. And I was I was so grateful, so humbled, so shocked that he wanted to do this together. But I also knew that it was based in sort of like our alignment of in terms of how we like to work and how we like to operate,
Mm,
and just sort of get the job done, and and not be bothered by a lot of the other stuff that can come up.
yeah. And obviously, the big talking point for this movie is using volumetric capture to film it, which I'm sure is, from what I've read, is a pretty disorienting experience. But I guess, how did the technology shape your performance in this?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think that I think first and foremost, what's happening to Carly in the movie is is meant to sort of take the audience along that journey too, right? It's sort of
Yeah.
happening, it like what's happening with her is happening at the same time that the audience sees it. That's the intention. So with regards to the volumetric capture, that very much has a big hand in that feeling, like
Mm,
that essence of of experiencing it for the first time. So, fortunately, there wasn't too much to prepare. You can't really prepare for that. So,
right.
so you kind of just have to show up and throw caution to the wind and do your best. For me, the biggest hurdle and challenge was trying to figure out how to actually um, find and mine my emotional life when
Hmm.
when all surrounding me was a very synthetic environment.
Yeah.
And so that was really a challenge. But it also, in terms of what's going on for Carly in the film, she's feeling so discordant and she's feeling so perpendicular to everything, and she's feeling so wary and hesitant. So everything that I was feeling with regards to the actual physical filming of it and that process sort of did play a part, and did sort of, it kind of was an ace up the sleeve in that sense, because you know, it was happening simultaneously.
Mm. And I saw another interview that you did where you said, you know, for anyone who might do this in the future, maybe try and see what it's going to look like after, just so you have an idea. For you, when you did see the final product, is it kind of what you imagined it would look like? Or I guess, what was your reaction to seeing it?
Yeah, it was, you know, I'd only seen sort of very, very small models of what was going on. Like I only saw kind of, you know, I'd watched a video on the process of volume capture, but that was, you know, sidebar. In terms of our product, like I saw kind of models of the environment, and we had to do walkthroughs of the environment in order to understand what the geometry of the space was, you know, and how that was going to relate to the stage that was built in a very small capacity, by the way, like a 5-meter capacity or 3-meter.
Oh, wow.
As well. So it was very, very small. So it's like we have these big grand houses that we're walking through, for instance, that are on this tiny little, in this tiny little set of cage of cameras. And then you have to sort of recreate your steps in order to get those motions, or recreate, you know, the movement. So yeah, I saw little bits along the way, but once I saw the final product, I was just sort of blown away, because my impression was it was exactly what Neill wanted. Like that, how he explained it to me at the beginning was exactly how it turned out, which I thought was mind warping.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I'm a popular fan. I need to bring it up real quickly, but I know this year it's been 20 years since the show came to an end. I'm just like, are you surprised to see what's become of Ryan Murphy, kind of ruler of all things TV, in the years since? And have you tuned in? I know Leslie has been on Horror Story recently. Just how is that?
Yeah. So first of all, am I surprised that Ryan has become what he's become? 150% not surprised. He was such a, like at the time, you know, he was such a young gun doing something that was, I think, far ahead of its time.
Very much.
And creating content that was so resonant with so many people, and a perfect combination of like, you know, just cutting wit with really heartfelt, real profound moments. And so I'm not surprised at all. And I'm so excited for him. It was a pleasure to be at his Walk of Fame ceremony, you know, to see those kind of things be, you know, anchored in place is really special. And that was, you know, that was such a crazy time for me, because I was still a teenager when we shot that, and coming to Canada and not knowing which way was up in terms of the industry or, you know, any of it. But I'm grateful forever for that experience. And I had so much fun every time we were within the walls of the set. Was just like my favorite time ever.
I had to ask real quick, just because I know the WB had amazing promo videos back in the day, and these keep popping up on Twitter, like the one of you guys with all the casts of all the other shows set to like, oh, what a night, I think, just dancing in like a club. Just what was that experience like when everyone would come together? Was it kind of as wild as it seems like it would be?
It was so strange. I mean, you know, they ran a very tight ship, so everybody was scheduled and everybody had their own thing. And it was, I mean, it was nice to see everybody's faces from these other shows, but it was definitely, it felt like it was still, you know, just another day on set. But honestly, Brian, that's like the only thing you can find streaming online with regards to
they're all there.
So, I mean, if that's what we get, then that's what we get. But it was so much fun. It was a great time.
Well, it was great to speak with you today. Thank you so much for your time, and have a good one.
You as well. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Bye.